All right, good evening, everyone. I am on live. It is Monday, January 13th, 2025, and my name's Karen McNall. My business name is Inspired by Graham, after my grandmother, and we are here to show you a heart-shaped card class tonight. We're going to be making the two cards in front of you, these two right here. And we'll go over some of my offerings that I have going on now. And I want to make sure that you're aware of them and that you do take advantage of the classes. So we'll just give it a couple seconds for people to come on and find us in that YouTube algorithm. And then we'll get started. So let us know where you're watching from. That's always fun to know. And let's have fun. Okay, so what I'll do right now, well, people are finding us. I'm going to go over what I am offering during the month of January. I've got three in front of you right now. I have my monthly card club, which is this one right here. And these are the card samples that I've made for you. And lots of Daffodil Delight. And it's just really pretty. I don't know if you can see how bright this paper is, but it is so beautiful. And I just kind of stamped generically. The card base here is in Old Olive. So Old Olive and Daffodil Delight. This one is a combination of Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lolly. I don't use the Lemon Lolly much, but it does really look nice together with the Daffodil Delight. This is a floral, it's a vellum, so it comes in 3 different patterns, and I don't know if you can see or know about these. These are they're so cute. They're little tiny bee trinkets. So I'll try to bring that up to the camera and show you what they look like, but you'll get one full container of those. And then here I just stamped a little heart over in the corner. And then here's what sentiment that says, "You make me smile." And it's just kind of like a basic fun fold card. And then I used, this is vellum over here. So that's one of the other designs that you're be getting a 6x12, 3 sheets of 6x12. So you'll have plenty of vellum to work with in card class or card club and along during, future classes that you have. Now, this Daffodil Delight ribbon is unfortunately on back order past my deadline date. So I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the ribbon. It might be, I don't know. I haven't compared. I have some of my grandmother's ribbon, which I'll show it to you. And I don't know as if it really compares, but I will do my best to get some kind of ribbon in this. It's just going to be the pieces that you'll need because I'm really not including the ribbon. But hey, that's not too bad. So those are the two. I don't know if you can see or not, but let me line that up straight. So you can kind of see the difference. The one on the right is the Daffodil Delight, and the one on the left side, I think that's like a brighter Daffodil Delight in my mind. Maybe you could call it Lemon Lolly, but I have some of the Daffodil Delight ribbon, and I will throw in some of my grandmother's ribbon. I'll use up what I can, and then I'll figure out the rest. But I know you can use your Stampin' blends to color white ribbon. So I might give that a try. I've actually never tried it, but that is on my to-do list this week. So that is our card. I think that was all of them. So sending you a big hug. On the inside, I designed it like this. And then You Make Me Smile. And then, whoops, I did a non-traditional Happy Valentine's Day with that bright yellow Lemon Lolly, Daffodil Delight. And that's how that one's designed on the inside. And again, this is how this one is designed. So very happy card club for this month for January. You have until the 20th of every month to join card club. It's a recurring subscription, but you can stick around for a month. I have some people that have been with me for 4 years. And whatever price they registered at, they're grandfathered in. So my current price is $39.95 a month, and you do receive $20 worth of products from every month with Stampin' Up! Products. And a lot of times I go over, it could be 20, 25, it could be 21, 22, all depends. And then after 6 consecutive months, you get a gift from me. And that's $25 worth of Stampin' Up! Products. Another class I have going on is a Celebration 2024. I don't know if many of you have or remember the Flight and Airy designer paper. This was so very popular. And I had stockpiled a bunch of it, and I've been keeping it for a year. And I'm bringing it out for Celebration 2025. So this is a ongoing to-go class. It's valued at $78.50, and you can purchase it for $49. And I'll just go through, there's 6 different designs because we have 6 different stamps in the Heartfelt Hellos stamp set, which you'll receive in this class. So you'll get all the parts, the embossed panels, the card base, what a typical kit includes, even this ribbon. You'll get a spool of that ribbon. So this is kind of how I designed this class. I do like to fussy cut out the birds and use edge pieces. So don't forget to use your edge pieces. That's all I have to say. Hello, Debbie, Deborah and Carla's on here. Thank you so much for joining tonight. So that is your card number 1. Card number 2 is a Father's Day or just a typical father's card. And it's kind of more of a masculine look. And on the inside, I used Lost Lagoon and crumb cake. And then this one here, I've got a little dimensional in here just for photography purposes, and so it lies flat. But here's that iridescent ribbon. And then it's Misty Moonlight. Actually, I got another one here too. So let me just open this up. So it's another fun fold, but I just love filling in every panel here with some type of designer paper. And this, I think I used every design in this class too, of the paper. So it was kind of fun. Here's a Mother's Day card. We've got soft seafoam as a card base along with Flirty Flamingo. And here's that beautiful iridescent ribbon. Can't go wrong with that iridescent ribbon. And then on the inside, I just, put a little bit of that designer paper in there. Here's a card using Garden Green and Boho Blue and those cute little birds. And on the inside of the Garden Green is just another white with some designer paper on the back side. And then here's an Easter card. So now's a great time to start your Easter cards, thinking of you this Easter. And then here's another one, how I used an edge piece. And it was just part of the edge, and I just kind of used my scissors to fussy cut around, and it really makes a nice look on the inside here too. Just looks like it all goes together. So that is this class. And it is, again, $49, includes shipping, and also Card Club includes shipping as well. And that is $39.95. So $39.95 for Card Club, $49 for the class with the Heartfelt Hellos and the Flight and Airy designer paper. And then finally, we have my current host code offering. This is using host code ZR3 JUTXE. And thank you so much, Kathleen, for placing an order with me. Not only did you earn this card kit, but you also got your celebration rewards. And if I remember correctly, you picked out, I think it was a Toadstool Gardens designer paper, which I'm using tonight. But this uses the beautiful butterflies, and you'll receive the embossed panel, the card base, just again, everything that I offer in my kits. You'll get the designer paper too, which is the Bloom's Impressions. And so that's card number 1. Card number 2 is just a simple designer paper kind of strip card. And then I stamped on the inside, of course. And then this is my favorite out of all 4 cards. It's using Azure Afternoon. And this is how I use the embossing folder. It's tone on tone. So we've got Azure Afternoon card base along with a panel that has those embossed butterflies. and we will emboss those. I will do this for you, but any of the stamped images, I can't do that according to Stampin' Up! Policy. But on the inside, I did some stamping as well. We did splatter with Winka Stella on this, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the sparkle, but it is there. And then finally, this is a card I cased from the catalog that showcases the beautiful butterflies. And this is kind of another, it's kind of a, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know, it's kind of a fun card. You don't expect that butterfly is going to open up, but there's a die in the set that you can create butterfly cards with. And then I just put it on a piece of white with some, let's see, I think this is Shy Shamrock. And then you can write on the inside right here. So plenty of room to write on. And then of course you'll receive all the envelopes too. So those are all my offerings, and I'm working on a craft fair offering, but I got to tweak it a little bit. I haven't been able to do that yet, but hopefully I will be able to do that tomorrow. But tonight we're going to be working with a heart-shaped die, it's a bundle. So heart-shaped bundle, and it's in the Celebration brochure, which is over here. So Celebration is open until February 28th. Every supply that's in the Celebration brochure is while supplies last. So if you want this set, I truly say you might want to place an order, or you should place an order $120 or above. That's what it will take to get this free stamp set and dies. So I'm just kind of showing you other things that are in the brochure. Along with this one, it's really getting popular, the Friendly Seagulls. I haven't seen much with the Day to Celebrate yet, but Toadstool Gardens, I'm using that tonight for Valentine's Day cards. Pick a season, I've seen a few cards made with that, but most definitely I've seen a lot of card making with the Bloom Impressions, which I'm stockpiling, of course. I want to stockpile that one. And now here is the heart-shaped bundle. It has 6 dies over here, or right here, and then 6 or 8 photopolymer stamps. So you got a really good deal here. This heart is absolutely stunning, just stamped alone. And then here's some more samples over on this side. And then we also have a Corner in Bloom stamp set that is also free with a $100 purchase. And then if you would really like to save money, I would say you should join Stampin' Up. You can join our team. We are called the Inspired Daisies Team of Stampers. There's 2 different sign-ons right now. There's specials. So you can choose 2 marker sets from our Stampin' Right marker assortments, the Brights, Neutrals, Regals, Subtles. For me, I would probably pick the Regals and the Neutrals. That's just me. I'm earth toned. And then you'll get this also handmade designs, really nice stamp set as well. So $99 for either one. The other option is your choice of an additional $30 in free products. So I like that. And this one here, you can get already, if you're a beginner stamper, this is excellent because it gives you a stamp set. It gets you some markers. So you've got a really good start there. Option 2 is probably more geared to someone that has paper crafting supplies in their craft room. But either way, both are great. And then let's see what else is in here. That's it. So we are going to be using the heart-shaped. Now let's go over the cards and the stamp sets. Other stamp sets we're going to be using tonight is called Hearts and Hugs. And this one, it wasn't in our annual catalog last year. It became an online exclusive this now. And now I noticed last night it's retired. So sorry about that, but this is going to be used for everyone that has the throughout the years in their stash, because guess what? There is a stamp set in there that says, "Be My Valentine." So, and then "You mean so much to me." So those kind of go together, and I pulled it out because a lot of us have retired stamp sets and we don't know what to do with them. So I'm going to show you what you can do with a retired stamp set and then an annual catalog set and also the heart shaped. All right, now the paper, Toadstool Gardens. I'm not really, wasn't sold on this paper, really, because I'm not into mushrooms, honestly. But I've seen quite a few cards made with it already. But for me, I want the back sides. All right, so we've got some foliage here. We got some melon mambo and kind of like maybe some pretty and pink kind of combination there. Wood grain, that's always helpful. These two patterns here work really nicely. You got your fresh freesia, and over here you've got some melon mambo. So I'm not using the mushroom sides because I actually like the other side of the paper. So this again is free. It's on page 8 of the celebration brochure. And if you are not working with a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like to have one of these catalogs, let me know. You can just simply email me at Karen@inspiredbygram.com. All right, next up is, I'm going to find a place for all this stuff. All right, our hearts and hugs. This is the one we'll be using this week in combination with a heart shaped. I'm going to be using this little critter here and then also this little critter up here. I'm going to use the little hearts, and I think that is all I was going to use on this set. So I'm kind of just combining 3 different stamp sets. And then this one here is what it looks like if you wanted to see it more like what it looks like on this, what the stamp case looks like along with the dies. But anyway, that is what this looks like. It's really fun to use. And it's kind of like a birthday, like hugging, like thinking of you, all that kind of stuff. All right, here's the paper. You saw it already. I don't need it because I've already got everything cut. The first one I'm going to go for is this one. And I'll need my cut and emboss machine. I'm going to need a lot of room here, so hopefully I can manage this. And also what I want to do is I got to move this camera mount closer to me because I keep going off camera and it absolutely drives me crazy when that happens. So let me also zoom out a little bit if I can. No, I guess I am as far out as I can be. Let me just lift this up. Sorry about that. To see if I can get a little bit further away. Hey, you noticed I got a scarf on today. I'm still in my work clothes. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks better, although it's a little crooked. I don't like that. So let's move this camera so I can get a little bit straighter desk with those fake bricks. All right, I think we're good. Maybe not. Let me just turn this just a little bit. I hate it when it's not straight. So just bear with me. Oops, I just rammed my head. Oops, I'm going the wrong way on my light. I think I'm going the right way. Okay, anyway, we're going to get going because this can be a long class or it could be a short one. Who knows? Depends on how I do. All right, I've got my card kit in front of me and I'm using the Be My Valentine. And also I'm using You Mean So Much. So that is from the Throughout the Years stamp set. Again, that one's retired, but I'm sure you already have it in your stash. And the embellishments are our rhinestone basic jewels. These work really nicely on this card. I found I needed something really small, but really shiny as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some die cutting and embossing at the same time with the adorning hearts. So with that said, what I need to do is I need to set this up, and I want to show you how I do that. So First thing is, I suggest that you have some washi tape handy or some Post-it tape. People use that too. I did this technique last week, I believe, with another hybrid embossing folder and die set. I'm just trying to get this stuff off first. This is some old washi tape. It's driving me crazy. I don't want it on here, or at least some of it. I had no prep time today because I worked until 5. And then I got home at 5:30, had supper, and then I'm here. So we're going through an accreditation process at our Parks and Rec agency where I work. And we are the only agency in the state of Vermont that's accredited. And today we had to get everything done and uploaded. I'm the uploader. And thought I was going to get out at 2, but I didn't get out until 5. So, and I still need to go through some uploading tonight. So lots to do when that comes along. We do have another day or two until the 15th to get everything ready to go. But I told my director I would work tonight and just double checking everything. Okay, so I've got my die here. So this comes as a hybrid. So you get your die in your embossing folder together. So this will sit really nicely in the embossing folder because I've got it lined up with the heart, the grooves that are going around here. But it can get loose. So what you want to do is you want to grab some washi tape, Post-it note, tape. You want to make sure this stays in put. So what I do is I just put some washi tape on all 4 corners and I leave it. Usually I'll leave it there. It's okay if you go over the where it's going to get dry embossed. This is really old, so it's taken me a little while to get this off or going, but all right, so I've got all corners here, and I know that's going to be secure. So then I've cut my Melon Mambo 6 by 6 because that's about the size of this. And then I'm going to fold this over. Okay. Then I'm going to look on the front side just to make sure I've got cardstock all the way around. I don't care if it's centered or not. I just want to make sure that I'm not over the edge. All right, so this is all set. You're going to need your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and that's the bigger one. All right, and then we will create our sandwich, which is our embossing plates. So every embossing machine is, they're not all tweaked the same. So some of them are tighter, some of them are looser. This sandwich may not work for your machine. You might have to put some shims, what have you, but I have found that for my machine, number 1 and then number 2, and then I'm going to slide the embossing folder hybrid in so that the fold of the embossing folder is up here. And then I'm going to take my plate, which has been used tremendously. And I've got my sandwich in here. I want to make sure it's all nice and straight. Okay, and now what I do, and this is going to be really tight, so I might have to like hit the camera or what have you, but do you see how that handle's moving up on over here? So I'm pushing this in, and when I see that handle move up, that means I need to transition this right hand over to the handle because I'm right-handed, and then see that plate's going in, and it's super, super tight. So I'm going to really need to hold this machine, and I'm going to have to go this way or else I'm going to probably lose it. All right, so I'm just going to crank, crank, crank. It's very tight. Normally, I would have this on a silicone mat, which you can get from Amazon really inexpensively. All right, we're done with that. But what you get is amazing. So let's take away the plates here, and we'll look and see what this just cut out. It's kind of like heat embossing. It's like magic. So we will open this up, and we have all of these hearts, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can, I can get a little bit closer so you can see the detail on this. It's so, so pretty. And if you wanted it the other side, so it's, so if you want this the opposite, then you just take this die and put it on this side, and it will cut out the opposite, meaning that it will look like this. Okay, it's just going to be the reverse depending on what side you have that die on. So we're all done with that. Again, that's called Adorning Hearts. And you should see all the dies that come with it. I have it all right here. But these are all the other dies that come with it. So check that out. It is in our annual catalog, and it's in the embossing folders section. If you don't know where that is, check out the index, and that's where you'll be able to find it. Don't throw this away, because if you can see, there are little hearts on here. You can cut this down to approximately 4 by 5 1/4 maybe, or maybe 4 by 4. And then you'll have these really beautiful hearts that you can actually, maybe you want to make the hearts Granny Apple Green, because Granny Apple Green and Melon Mambo go really nicely together, as you'll see. So what I would do is die cut, use this whole same thing, but take a piece of 6 by 6 Granny Apple Green, and then you can take your Granny Apple Green hearts and put them in here, so you have a nice little color combination. So something to think about. I just love this hybrid embossing folder. And you get multiple uses of it as well. And I'll be using these hearts on this class. So let's bring our sample back in here so I can remember what I'm doing. All right, this is mostly a white card. Once you get the dry embossing and the die cutting done, it should go fairly smoothly. Okay, so the stamping I will do first. I've just got a piece of scrap, and I'm going to be using Melon Mambo, and let me see where it is, because this class uses just about 2 colors, maybe 3 of inks, and I probably put it in another class. Of course I did. It should be right here. Hold on. There it is. It was underneath my Granny Apple Green. Okay, so Melon Mambo, very, very bright color. And then let me just take my Be My Valentine. And it doesn't matter how I stamp it, because I'm going to fussy cut it out. Now our base is a basic white thick, and it's cut, I've got an 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I do want to stamp my message here, which is, you mean so much to me. And I'm just going to stamp it kind of like right there in the middle. And that's all of our stamping for tonight on this card. Now it's very simple, kind of piecing everything together. So here's your embossed panel, 4 by 5 1/4. You can use any one you want. I like this one here because it's just so pretty and delicate. I'm going to use my liquid glue, because liquid glue or the Seal Plus are your best options for dry embossed panels. Kind of looks like we're making a wedding card at first, but then we're going to give it a pop of Melon Mambo. Now I've got multiple pieces here, squares. These are all fresh freesia squares, and they're 1.5 by 1.5. And then I got the Toadstool Gardens, which should be 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. And all I want to do is take my glue very lightly. This is a new bottle, so it's definitely got a lot of glue in it. So we're just going to match those up right now. This one I could have used either side, but I like this, the Greening Apple Green in this one too. It's got a lot of the colors in the paper. This pattern does. And then this one, I could use stripes or the dots. I'm leaning towards stripes. Dots kind of make me a little, I don't know. I can't look at those long. Blurred vision, I guess. I like liquid glue too because I didn't get that centered correctly, so I could just move it just a little bit. All right, now you got to just determine the pattern that you want on the front of the card. So what they're going to do, they're just going to go on the left side, and you'll want to start with the outer first and then the inward one, because this way you can center this one amongst the two. Okay, so now you're just going to decide what pattern you want. So I'll go different from this one. So I've got the multiple colored one here, and then on this one I've got this pattern, and then on the bottom I got the stripes. So for this one, I'm always going to have this one in the middle because these have different colors in them. So I want that one in the middle. I think it would look a little odd like this. So this one stays in the middle. And I'm just going to flip these back and forth so that we can get just a different look. Take your first one. And then I'm going to put it down here. And I want 1/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch right there. But what I found with this is you need to just hold this in place for a little bit. You can use your ink pad. You can use a block. I like to use a block because I can see it. And then the next one here, let's see, do I want to go? I like horizontal lines. So that's what we'll use for this one. And again, look at your designs. I don't want that pumpkin pie at the top because it's going to be covered. And again, 1/4 of an inch at the top and 1/4 of an inch on the left side. That way you'll know you're lined up pretty good if you're just eyeballing it. If you want to get a ruler out, well, go for it, but that would just totally take me too long. And then this one here is going to go right in the middle. And what you want to do is just center it amongst these two. And it's all about 1/4 of an inch. It might be a little bit bigger in between these two than the edges, but that's okay. All right, now you're going to determine your hearts. Now, with the Adorning Hearts embossing folder, there's actually 3 different designs. So I want the heart, there's a heart-shaped, there's like a foliage shaped, and then another foliage shape. So all of these are just the same pattern. So I'm going to put those aside. And then 2 of them get adhered down. I want the hearts in the middle. And then you can decide which side is showing. This is the deboss side. It's kind of more of a rougher feel to it, where this is the embossed side. It's a little bit smoother. I want the embossed side showing. So it's going to be actually, let me see, is it going to be the same? No, it's going to be different than the first card I made. Okay, so that's how I want this to line up. The middle one here is going to get popped up with dimensionals. These 2, the top and the bottom ones, are simply going to get adhered with my liquid glue. So again, I'll make sure I have enough on here, but not too much where it oozes out on the edges. And then just hold that in place. It's a little bit easier to adhere this one because you're adhering it to designer paper. And then we'll just add a little bit more glue to the second heart. And we do the same thing. And then I'll just hold it in place, use my block if I want to. And now this one here, I like this one. It's just really, really pretty with the delicate hearts there. The dimensionals, I've got a few left over, as you can see here. I'm trying to use these up from last week. All I need, these are just pieces of a kit, dimensionals that were left over for one of our kits collections. So I've got 3 on there. I would suggest 3 no matter what. And just form your triangle with the dimensionals. And then this is going to get adhered right to the middle. Okay. Next up is we're going to fussy cut the Be My Valentine. I like to use my paper snips to do that. And I'm not very good at it, but I do try to do my best. And with the Valentine, see how it's kind of up and down, up and down. So just take your, oops, I'm going to trim some of that off. So just take your scissors and you're just going to turn your paper. It's kind of curvy. I'm pushing down on the handles of the paper snips and go right around the corner. You can come back and fine tune it if you want. It's getting down to like hardly anything now. And then we just go right around. There, we finished it off. And then we'll just take our dimensionals one more time and we'll just adhere those right to the Be My Valentine. Looks like I'm gonna need to go get some more dimensionals. Now I do want to add one right down here. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut one in half. So it's a bit smaller and just add it right there. And then we'll just need one more. I like edge pieces because they're, you know, they're smaller than our normal like little circles. And then just determine where you want to put this one. I cut this one a little bit smaller than the sample. I'm going to just put it right in here. I don't want it up too high because I think that looks awkward. In the middle, it extends over the right side. So if I tuck it in right here, it does look a lot better down in this area. Okay, then what we'll do, the inside is just stamped, and then we just need to add our rhinestones, and then we'll be done this card. So this card design with the adorning hearts, all right, if you want to do this design, you have 3 different sets, okay, or 2. Wait, I'm missing one. Oh, it's over here. So you can make 3 cards with 1 pass of the adorning hearts hybrid embossing folder. So easy to mass produce. I wanted to use the really tiny rhinestones because I think the big ones will just take away. I wanted to add some sparkle. So I thought the little rhinestones make a good choice. So there's a spot right here it's the way the paper is embossed. I'm going to put a little sparkle there because it needs a little bit something. And now all I'm going to do is form some kind of triangle with my embellishments. So let's find, here's an area up here. I'm trying to hit the center of the designs. So we got one right here and maybe something over in this area. Let's try right here. We'll go right in the middle of that embossed image there. Okay, so that is this card here. I did add designer paper to the envelope flaps on a couple of the other cards that we were making. I'm not going to take up time to do that on camera, but here's your card number 1. So we'll put those opposite each other, and I'll try to zoom in a little bit. Maybe you'll be able to tell the difference in the embossing. I'm not really sure. This one is different from this one. It's just the opposite. Embossed, debossed. While you're looking at the, ooh, that is way too close. I should look at my laptop, and that was way too close. All right, I'm gonna pick up my little embellishments and my tools here. I'll clean off my stamp sets so I don't get some ink on my hands. You guys can kind of let me know what you think about this card design, and then we're gonna move on to the next one. All right, let's put this away. This is the next card we're going to be making. It's a little tricky to get the stamping perfect, but I'll try to get it in the middle this time. We're going to need to use our embossing machine again on this one. So, and here's the envelope. Wednesday, I'll be making 2 more cards, the toadstool designer paper along with the heart-shaped stamp set and dies. So let's see, we need Melon Mambo and we need Granny Apple Green. The embossed panel on that first card we did, it was the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. In case you wanted to know, I use this one a lot. This one and the Fern one, they're kind of my go-tos. All right, so we need this one. Let's see. I got all these bins. I got 4 bins. Well, we use some Stampin' blends. I need this die here from Stylish Shapes. A lot of prep work goes into online classes. You're just gonna have everything ready and organized somehow so you kind of stay on top of everything. Okay, now let me just put my stamps over to the right and we'll take a look at this one. So this one, it's got designer paper on the top. We've got a critter already there. We've got Granny Apple Green panel, basic white thick. And then on the inside, I just did some little stamps with the flowers and the leaves and added in some designer paper. So I love this critter. It's my favorite one out of the Hearts and Hugs bundle. So we will do some stamping first and coloring, and then we'll assemble. Actually, no, we're gonna, let me just think about this. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna take the silicone craft sheet, put it on our work surface because we don't want our washi tape stuck to it. Now this one here, we're gonna die cut using the Stylish Shapes circle. We're gonna die cut these 2 at the same time. So this means you need to have this already set to go and you want it to stay put. So I'm just going to add my washi tape to all 4 corners before I use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so I've got that together. And let me bring in the machine one more time. And that means I got to pick all this stuff up. Oh, I don't want to lose that. Okay. All right, so we will need the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We can't use the mini because this is too big. It's 3 7/8 wide, so that's too big for the mini cut and emboss machine. So we will use our bigger one, and then we need plate number 1, and then we will need number 2, which is the little shim. And then we need the acrylic plate, which is number 3, our paper. And I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't move. I'm going to take my stitch circle, and this is going to go up towards the top, okay, about maybe 3/4 of an inch down. I'll take my washi tape because I know this will move. And I'm just going to center the stylish shaped circles, and that is the largest circle in the set. If you don't have stylish shapes, you're way behind the game. You'll need to order them because I've got 2 sets of these. I use these so much. And they're just circles, squares, and banners. And of course, that is everything we kind of use when we die cut. I need another plate. And this one's kind of bent, but we'll try it. My handle again moved, right? So we push this in until the handle moves. I grab it with my right hand. My left hand goes to the top. And we're cutting through. Since we're going through 2 layers, I'm going to come backwards. So it goes through 2 times. Before I move my machine, I want to make sure that it did cut all the way through. Which I think it did. Yes, it did. So we're good to go. Let me close this all up. And truly, we are done with the large machine. We will transfer over to the mini cut and emboss when we die cut out the little critter. Okay, so now we will gently, very gently, oh no, that's gonna rip. Very gently take your washi tape off. When it goes through the machine 2 times, it might rip your paper. So I did forget. What I did forget to do was just touch it with my finger, and that way it would reduce the stickiness. Hopefully you can get these all off without destroying the paper. Pulling at an angle does help. Just go very slowly. And then these should pop off fairly easily. There. Okay, so now what we end up with is we have 2 circles. Guess what? We're going to use these on cards 3 and 4. So Wednesday we'll be using these. So those are not wasted. And then we end up with 2 panels that have circles on them, and they still have that border of Granny Apple Green. Now, let me think. I got to remember, I've only done this card once, so stay tuned. Let's see if we can do it. All right, this is the tricky part. So I tried this a number of different ways. What you want to make sure is you stamp this in the middle, or else see how my TH is underneath the heart there. That's what we don't want to happen. So if we center this here, and I'll come back with some washi tape just to hold this in place. The stamp I'm using says, "My thoughts of you are all heart-shaped." Okay, and we want to stamp that dead set in the middle if we can, okay, because that heart, the die cut here, which is beautiful. On Wednesday, I'll show you how I use multiple layers of the heart. So this would be centered in the circle. You're going to need to stamp this right here. Now you could leave that heart there and then stamp it if you want, if you feel, or you can wing it. This time I'm going to leave that heart where it is, but I think what I'll do is add just one little piece of washi tape right here, just so I know it stays put. Enough. Maybe I'll add some down here too. I'm using Melon Mambo ink, which is the same color as that heart. And I got to bring this closer to me so I can see. Oh, that's so much better. So much better. Phew. Okay. On the inside, I did stamp those little flowers. So we'll do the same thing. We've got them. There's 3 of them. And then there's a little stamp that has the foliage leaves. I like to stamp, of course, the flowers first. So let's open up our card base. And we will stamp them up in the corner here. And then we'll take the little foliage piece with the greeny apple green. And I'm going to stamp it 3 times for an odd number. So 1 will get stamped down here. And then I will stamp 2 more, 1 up in this area here. And then let's over here, fill in that white area there. Okay, so that's what that looks like. I'm going to do the same thing on my basic white medium envelope. Let's make it all coordinating. So I will again take the 3 flowers and arch it in the corner there. And then the same thing. I'm going to add some leaves there. How about some leaves over here? And then we'll add some going this way. There. Now, if you wanted to do the design all the way down the bottom, you can go for it, or maybe 3. Hey, let's do that. I've got some time. I want to stamp some more. So I will go over, let's see. No, I want to go this way. And then that was not a very good stamp. I don't have my Stampin' Pierce mat with me. That's better. I want to fix that because that is going to bother me. So let me grab my Melon Mambo. Melon Mambo. Okay. So if you're not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you would like to be, this is your these are our Stampin' Right markers, and this is what you would receive 2 different color families of your choice. And I like using them to fill in images that don't get stamped 100%. You just I use the fine tip point to do that. And these will match a little bit better than if I just left them alone. And I'll bring this up to the camera so you can see. And then we got 1 more here. There. Think it looks better. And it kind of resembles these stamped images. This one actually over here is the best one. but that's how you can fix it. Now let's take the Granny Apple Green and we'll add some more leaves, and then we should be done. So again, we'll do 3 for our odd numbers. So 1, 2, 3. This is a really tiny stamp, by the way. Let's go over here, and then the other 2. Let's fill in this white area here, and then over here. Okay, isn't that, oh, that's much prettier, don't you think? Let me know, do you like the 1 or do you like the 3? Let me know. You can hit it with Wink Stella as well if you wanted to do that. All right, next up is we're going to stamp the little critter. And to do that, you need your Memento black ink, because we're using Stampin' blends. You'll also want a piece of scrap paper underneath, which I don't have, but I'll just use this. So when I'm using the felt, felt and not the squishy pads, I like to take the ink pad to the stamp. I have more control. I can see where the ink is. And now we'll just stamp this right in the middle. And I hold it just a little bit just to make sure I get that black ink into the white. And we've got a really nice stamped image. Now you could leave them like that, or you could use your Stampin' blends and we'll color them in. So I've chosen Gray Granite and the light bubble bath. The light bubble bath is going to be for his little cheeks. So here's that little image. I like to start with my dark color first. So I'm going to shade over around these. Let me just, I'll try to get in a little bit closer. So I'm going to just go over. I like to use a chisel point too. Karen has more control with the chisel point. And I'm just going to kind of go around it, doing like scribbling almost. And then the little feet here, I'm only going to go in partially, about halfway. And then I'm going to come around the left side. And a little bit in its little hands. And then around his little cheeks. And then partially his ears. Okay. Now we'll take the lighter Gray Granite and we're going to blend in. So I'm going to use the brush tip. And I like to put it at an angle. I will go over this one more time with the darker image, or the darker ink. The little point too can get into those really, really small areas, just tapping it. I'm going to go over his cheeks. Don't forget, I'm going to color that in with Bubble Bath. And his nose too. I'm going to take the dark another time around. This is like the third layer of ink. There, I think I'm satisfied with that. Oh, maybe right here. Now we're going to add the cheeks and we're going to color in the nose. So the nose is pretty easy. And now the cheeks, all I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a circle here. It will dry. See how this one here, you can see the bubble bath coming through. It will get, it looks a little funky right now, but it will get better. We're going to get the mini cut and emboss machine out and we're going to die cut this little critter. God knows where the die is. This is going to be an issue if I can't find my die. Let's see. We have number 1 and number 2, then our paper, and then our die, which I believe is in the case. I hope it's in here. Yes. So I like to leave my dies in with the stamp set if it's a bundle. So I know that's where they go. So again, I've got some washi tape already on here. You might find it easier if you just take the acrylic plate off and then line up your die. You don't actually have to do that. If you just use the paper, the die, and then the washi tape. This is a little bit smaller image we're trying to die cut. I'll put a little bit there, and then I'm going to take a look at it just to make sure that it looks pretty good around, and we're not going to have a lot of white space over the edge. I think that's okay. So again, we got 1 and number 2, our paper and die, and then we will have the other clear plate, which is right here, number 2. So we got a nice little sandwich in here. And again, what I'm going to do is zoom out so you can see. I'm going to push this in until that handle on the right side moves. See that? Okay, and now I'm going to transfer my hands. And then it kind of goes through, makes some noise once in a while. It makes some really loud cracking noises, but that's totally fine. And let's see how we did. Not too bad. Now you could recolor if you wanted to. And so I don't lose this. You know where it goes, right? It goes right back in your case. And then we're all done with the mini. And I gotta run and get some more dimensionals. Hold on. I got a new pack. All right, now let's see if I've got everything I need to. This card is I'm making this one different so you can see a different pattern on the front. So we will take these pieces off very carefully again. We don't want our paper to rip. I reuse these. I just stick them on the edge of my desk. Okay, so now I'm going to adhere the designer paper to the granny apple green. I also want to make sure that the smooth circles, the smooth side is facing me, okay? And this one is going to get popped up, being raised up by our dimensionals. Here's the opposite side. Those are with the snails and the mushrooms. Open up these nice little dimensionals. I love it when I open up the new pack. And then let's add, of course, we'll add one to every corner. And then I'm going to add one to the middle section. And also right here and here. And I will take my paper snips and I'm going to cut a little small pieces from the edge. And these will go where it's a little bit more narrow, meaning like right here. And right here. To make sure you're happy with it, you can just lay this up here and just kind of feel it and see if that's what you're gonna like. I think it's pretty good. So I'm gonna press those down. And then let me find my piercing tool. We'll take those backings off real quick, but carefully, because we're taking the backings off they're attached to the paper, the designer paper, which is much thinner than our cardstock, and we don't want to go too fast or else we have the chance of tearing our paper. Let me just make sure I got all those backings off. You can tell because it's shiny. And I see one more over here. Okay, so now we're just going to adhere this to the granny apple green. I'm looking at the lower corner for me because it's closest to my eyes, and then the one up here to the left, and then really everything else falls into place. Okay, now we'll bring in the card. This is going to be adhered straight down. So let's take our liquid glue, and I don't want to get too close to the edge or else it'll ooze out, but just enough. And this is just centered on the front, your top, bottom, left, and right. Okay, next you'll take your heart and you're adding little dots of glue. I would totally say liquid glue for this. Or you can use an adhesive sheet. I'm not putting the glue on every little petal. It's not necessary. And then this just gets centered on, oops, the circle. Okay, wow, that one's really good. I did a pretty good job with this one. Now in the dies, we have foliage, we got some flowers, and I have them kind of, I didn't know what color I wanted to add because this is more plain than our sample card, right? So let's add a little bit of color. And you can get the color coordination from the back side of the designer paper. It does list all the colors that come with it. Or let me just show you. On the back side here, underneath the title, it says Early Espresso, Fresh Freesia, Granny Apple Green, Melon Mambo, Poppy Parade, and Pumpkin Pie. So I just randomly cut out some colors. I even included white. And I just wanted to see what they would look like. I knew I was going to use Granny Apple Green for the foliage. So I will just add a little few dots to this one. And I want to add it right over here, but not on top of the Melon Mambo. Oops, I want to get that off that there. Oops, look at that. Tweezers would work better. Come on. Okay, now what color flower do I want? I've got fresh fuchsia. I've got pumpkin pie. And I have white. White kind of blends in. Pumpkin pie really doesn't look like it belongs there. And fresh freesia looks like it's going to be the best option. Or what you could do is kind of make a little bloom of flowers. So you could put the pumpkin pie, the white, like adhere those down, and then pop up this one. I can do that. Why not? I've got 3 here. So let's add a little bit of liquid glue. And then the white, add your glue to the rough side. Okay, and then on the fresh freesia one, I want to add a really small piece. And let me just kind of cut these in half. It has to be really small because that is a really small center. And we don't want to see it on the other side. So see how small that little dimensional is? It's smaller than our minis. And I'm going to put this one kind of in the middle over top. Okay. Now our critter, our little cute little critter. This is a time if you wanted to color him more, you could. Or I'm just going to leave him how he is. Let's use up the rest of, actually, no, I'm going to use one of these small ones for the heart. So we will take probably 3 would be fine. If you create your little triangle. And then this is going to go right down here. So far, so good, right? Now, I've already pre-cut the little hearts. And I have a little container over here because they're so small. I want to use 5 because that's an odd number. And since the primary boldest color on here is the Moody Mauve, I thought Moody Mauve in the middle would look really nice. And that one gets adhered with a dimensional. So we'll take another one of those little tiny dimensionals and we'll add it to the back side and then kind of take that backing off. And right now I'm just going to place it. It's a placeholder right there. Okay. Now the rest of them, I want probably the same color. Over here, I used the Pretty in Pink. So let's see what fresh. I think I'm gonna go with fresh freesia because that's the flower over there that's on the top. They are so tiny. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like that. So I'm gonna grab my tweezers because I need them. Well, I had them last night. I don't know where they went. I have 2 pair. Do you guys ever have that problem? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to add a little dot of glue right there and right over here. Oh, I could use my take your pick tool. Oh, where is it? There it is. I found my tweezers too. I moved them to a different desk. But use your take your pick tool and use the putty side. You have to turn it a little bit and a bunch will come out. Okay, smooth side towards me. Oops. I want this straight. There is a right and wrong side here. Just going to make sure your smooth side is facing you. And then, oops, 2 more dots of glue. See how tiny those little dots of glue are? You do not need very much at all. I'm going to move that Melon Mambo one in just a second, but I got to place these first. Now, this one, I spaced them too far apart. That's what I was hoping to get, but I did space them. It looks like this is his belly button, honest to God. Oh my goodness. I don't think I can. Oh, I can still move them up. Let's see if I can fix it. Oh, I can. Yay. That just looked really weird. It's still not exactly what I wanted, but it's okay. There. Now all these little hearts I will save for another card because it does punch out plenty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hearts. Here's our little strip of paper that we can put on the inside if you would like to. And I think I'm going to show this side because it's got Granny Apple Green in it. And this is just a scrap, random scrap that I had left over. Now the embellishment I'm using for these are the iridescent pearls because they're really tiny. Again, I'm going for small. And I will just take, boy, really tiny, one and put it on this fresh freesia. And then I will add 2 more. So we've got 1, And we'll put one up here too. And then create our little triangle. There we go. I got some Winka Stella, and I think I want to add a little bit to this middle heart. There. What about his cheeks? Cute. I actually like the, I'm just looking at this right now. I totally like the 3 flowers versus the 1. All right, I'll put those side by side so you can decide which one you like. If you like the multiple flowers, do you like all the same color hearts, or do you want to mix it up? And I'll check to see if there's any questions. It doesn't look like it. I gotta refresh because it seems like my screen is locked up here. I don't see many comments here. Okay. I see Barbara, Carla, Deborah, Barbara, Deborah, Carla, Deborah. All Team Daisies, right? Thank you so much. And I'll be drawing for the royalty pot right after, you guys. So from our team meeting, if you didn't get your points in, you got a couple more seconds to do so. All right, so Wednesday I will be showcasing same stamp sets. I'm going to be using the Hearts and Hugs. I will also be using the heart-shaped. I will not be using the throughout the years, but I'll be using this one and this one as well. So to recap, this is your hearts shaped and Hearts and Hugs, also hearts, right? Card class for tonight, card class number 1, and then number 2 will come Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Here's our matching envelope. And then actually, here's our other matching envelope here. So let me see, are there any votes? Love both critter cards. Yeah, they're cute. I do like the various colors over here. I'm not sure how it would look with more of a busy paper. Probably 1 is just enough, or maybe I would put in fresh freesia, maybe. I don't know. Melon Mambo too. Who knows? All right, so just to recap, here's our class for tonight. Wednesday will be 2 more. You can go to my website, which is inspiredbygraham.com. And here is my host code. I covered it up there. I didn't even notice it. I think you can see it. That will get you free card class using the beautiful butterflies. Here's card 1, card number 2, card number 3, and card number 4. With a qualifying order, $35 will get you 4 card kits. And that's all on my website. And then Card Club for January, $39.95 recurring subscription. We're using bright yellows this and greens, and Pool Party, Pecan Pie, Daffodil Delight. We got Vellum. 8 cards there, 2 of each design, and a bunch of supplies, including those tiny bee trinkets there. So cute. And then for $49, you can earn this class. It's a to-go class using last year's celebration paper called Flight and Airy, and it comes with a stamp set, Heartfelt Hellos. And I think I have like maybe 4 or 5 classes left, so make sure you order this very quickly because it's about ready to sell out. So that's also on my website too. It's only available for my email subscribers. They get it first chance there. So here are the cards. I use every sentiment in the stamp set. Okay, so lots of cards I've got here for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's class, and I will see you on Wednesday. Take care and be well.